All right, guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Andrew Emery. If you've not visited before, at Andrew Emery Golf. Going to talk about some things today, okay? I've been coaching a very long time, 25 years, given thousands and thousands of golf lessons to beginners all the way up to the absolute elite level. Traveled to 4 different continents, actually, working with some really good players. Of course, I learn more from them than they did from me. That's what we do as instructors. That's how we learn. Our students are the ones that teach us on the driving range. You can read all the books you want. You can have wonderful mentors. Let me tell you something, a little secret amongst us teachers. The more you teach, the better you get. It doesn't mean that you teach more, okay? It just means you tend to be able to create a little bit more of a shortcut to get your students where you want them to get. So what I've learned is the biggest misconception, it's going around, guys, it's on YouTube right now, and it doesn't mean, I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, it doesn't mean that these coaches are ill-intentioned, it doesn't mean that they're not good, because I believe the IQ on YouTube for coaches, guys, extremely high. There's a lot of wonderful coaches out there that have tremendous amount of experience. The problem is I don't have the mobility I used to have when I was in my 20s. And if I try and get into some of these positions that you see these tour players getting in, I'm probably gonna do more harm than I am good. You're gonna use your body, you know, and just turn and burn, okay, as you strike the golf ball with a dead shot face and, you know, get in there and get into these positions that you see. Make sure you can do it, okay? That's the first thing. Me, I cannot do it. I'm 52 years old. I've been a good player. I'm still a decent golfer. I can get it out there under par. I maintain a plus handicap, and you know, but I just know what my limitations are, and I'm here to help people in many respects that do have some of those physical limitations. They do love the game. They've lost speed. They're watching these videos. They're getting worse. They're not getting better. They're actually getting worse, and they haven't learned and understood the importance of using their hands and their arms in the golf swing. They don't have that education yet. All the years they've been playing, they've never actually done it. So once you actuate your wrists correctly, you can hit 5 or 6 different shots here. My gosh, short game alone, I don't want to go there, but what you can do with one wedge, not 3 wedges, but one wedge, you know, working on different release patterns here. The artistry, guys, the way you spin the ball from right to left, from left to right, high, low, all that artistry is in the hands. It's in the hands. And it's no different on a full swing. If I want to hit a low draw, okay, I want to hit a high cut, I'm going to change my release pattern. I'm going to change the way I move the club head in space, okay, with my hands. So the idea that we're going to be sort of stiff-wristed and we're going to drag the handle and turn the body, and that's going to actually have us play better golf. For the vast majority of you, you've got no business working on stabilizing your club face. It's too stable as it is, okay? If you're hitting it weak and to the right, or you're not hitting it particularly far, I can assure you your club face is too stable. Everyone recognize this move, right? There's a stable release right there. Look at that club face. It's not doing a thing. As opposed to the person that's in here doing this, which, by the way, Rory McIlroy, I mean, every Tiger Woods, it goes on and on and on. Fleetwood in this position, okay? They're not driving this way, okay? They've got their lower body moving. Of course they got their lower body moving. Are they turning? Of course they're turning through the golf ball. But guys, it's the hands and the arms that are delivering the message, okay? The wrists are responsible for angular momentum, okay? What we do is we create angles, then we dump angles, and then we recreate angles. That up and down motion, that hinge, unhinge, leverage system that we create, you do that with your wrists, okay? You combine that with some linear momentum. What's the linear momentum? That's the momentum that's created with the arms. And what we're doing here is we're exchanging that linear momentum with angular momentum. So how does the body come into play? Well, the body, guys, is a transport mechanism. Your body supports your hands and arms, and my goodness, it plays a very, very important role. You know, I don't care how good your hands and arms are. If you're doing this with your body, you're going to hit terrible golf shots. So it's very important to understand the body has its purpose without any question. But I'm just in that camp that believes, for the vast majority of golfers, educating your hands and arms needs to be numero uno. Once you do that, you start to use your body dynamics, and that's a force multiplier. It actually helps you increase your speed. Yes, the body helps you increase your speed, but it's a big mistake to think that the speed in the golf swing comes from the hips, guys. LPGA Tour, 94 miles an hour, average driver speed. PGA Tour, 114 miles an hour, 115 mile an hour, average clubhead speed. LPGA Tour move their hips faster on average than PGA Tour. That's saying something, isn't it? So if you're moving your hips faster, of course it doesn't necessarily correlate to moving this faster, all right? It just doesn't. So let's get to work. Let's just talk about this for a minute. I need you to understand these different release patterns. Most of you have relatively weak grips. So that just means you don't have a lot of knuckles on this lead hand, the one that's closest to the target. You get that club a little high in the palm, doesn't enable you to rotate the club, doesn't enable you to hinge it up and down particularly proficiently. I would recommend anyone who's struggling with distance or slices, okay? I would recommend that you get the club more in the fingers and get your lead hand more on top of the golf club. I want to see 3 knuckles on that left hand. Yes, 3 knuckles on the left hand, all right? You do that, you're going to start to actuate your wrist here. You're going to start to get that club rotating. And golf, guys, played right here. This is where golf's played. Look at this. This is it. Just facing you. Easy, okay? That's it. If you're coming in with a wide open club face and no matter how hard you do this, your golf club at impact will be pointing out to the right. It doesn't allow this to happen. So first and foremost, left hand on top, trail hand a little bit more underneath, both V's to that trail shoulder. And then the most important thing as far as setup is concerned, and I think in the swing itself, is to monitor the tension in your joints, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. Most golfers have way too much tension. Scale of 1 to 10, do not go to a 1. I don't want you looking like a wet spaghetti noodle. You'll lose all the structure in your golf swing. Of course, we've got to make sure we have good grip integrity, okay? But what I would recommend is a 5. That's going to feel pretty light to you. Maybe even move it down to a 4. Going to feel really light to you. And the reason you want to do that is once you start to relax your arms in particular, especially your elbows, okay? You're going to start to feel the club head. You'll feel the weight in the club head. Once you start to feel the club head, most of you for the first time, you'll feel whether it's closing. You'll feel whether it's opening. Most of you are swinging all the way through the golf ball. And be honest with yourself. Be honest. When you play golf, do you react to what the ball's doing? Is the ball telling you where the club face is? Or do you actually kind of feel what the club face is actually doing? If I'm hitting into a net right now, okay, I turn my screen off. I turn it off, okay? I can tell you right now when I hit a golf shot, if the ball's going left or if it's going right, I do not need to see where the ball is going. Most of you can't do that. So tension is got to be absolutely at the top of the list, okay? Once you get your grip in a good position, monitor your tension, about a 5 out of 10 at the very most. And this is why it's so important. The golf club, the way it's designed, the weight of the club, the mass of the club is set more towards the heel. The toe of the golf club, guys, is a lot lighter. So if I move this club back and through, I'm not twisting the golf club. All right, you can do this yourself. I'm just holding it lightly and I'm moving it from right to left, just like this. Can you see what's happening to the toe of the golf club? It wants to rotate. How about that? And yet 85% of you still slice. And it wants to rotate. So if we get a stronger grip, we relax the forearms, the toe of the club, guys, is wanting to close as we approach impact. It wants to continue to rotate to the left as we strike the golf ball. It wants to move from right to left. The problem, you guys aren't allowing that to happen. The straight shot's the hardest one to hit. Don't try and hit a straight golf shot. You should never aim straight, or a line straight for that matter. I see people on the driving range. I'm like, wow, it's really great to see someone using an alignment rod. They line it up absolutely dead straight. I'm like, well, at least, well, you know, at least they're using an alignment rod, right? Most of you aren't doing that. But then I look at them setting up and I don't know really whether the ball's going to go left or right. And that's a problem, okay? Very rarely, if you watch a tour event and you watch the swing tracer, you're going to see that ball go straight up and down on the same plane. It's either moving from right to left or it's moving from left to right. And the vast majority of them, especially with driver, they're moving it from left to right. As right-handed golfer, they're hitting fades. Why is that? Because they're trying to avoid the hook. How many of you guys, be honest, are concerned about hitting it too far? Maybe too far long left. All right, you're worried about hitting hooks. If I had 10 of you in here right now in my studio, right, 2 of you, maybe 3 would put your hand up and say, yeah, you know, I do struggle with that hook. Most of you are not struggling with that. So if you're a hooker of the golf ball, right, you probably want to work on hitting fades. You want to try and get a little bit more open with your body. You might want to hold the face a little bit more open, what we call an extension release pattern, which just means that the lead wrist remains a little bit more on top of the golf club through impact. Does not mean I'm dragging the handle. That's where, gosh, forget this. I'm using my hands. Look, there's a fade. How about that? Doesn't look like it. Look, that's a fade. All right, you don't see this. That's not a fade. That's a low stinger or a punch shot, which is fine. You wanted a punch shot? Go ahead and go through the ball like this, okay? But guys, I'm using my hands to fade the ball. I'm using my hands to draw the ball. How about that? I'm using my hands. But the release pattern's completely different. If I'm hitting a draw, I'm releasing my speed in rotation. If I'm hitting a fade, I'm releasing my speed in extension. That just means my lead wrist, it's a little bit like throwing a frisbee. That's that release pattern you've probably seen on YouTube, okay, where the left wrist is pointing up, okay, through the golf ball. That's for you hookers, okay? People that miss the ball to the left. So what I'm going to do, forget this lining up straight business. I'm going to line up to the right because I want to go ahead and hit a draw and I want to start the ball to the right, okay? I don't want to start it straight and hit a draw. I want to start it to the right. So I'm going to get myself lined up to the right. Never ever aim or align outside a fairway or a green. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to feel the toe of the club catch up to the heel and pass the heel through the golf ball. What I'm doing here is allowing my golf club to swing past my body. What I'm not doing is going to have my body outrun my hands and my arms. That's the vast majority of you. What we call transition spinning, where you face the ball way too early, club gets stuck behind you, got to dump it out here, guys, releasing early. Absolutely problematic. So what I'm going to do is very simply, here we go. Here's my little arm swing draw. I know a lot of you guys would love to do this. There's my little baby draw. Effortless, okay? Nice and relaxed. I kept my tension the same all the way through the motion there. All right, want to move the ball a little further out there, get a bit more distance. I'm going to move my arms a little bit faster. We'll go ahead and create a bit more mustard on this one. Here we go again. Well, hey, boom. Release that golf club freely. Put a little bit more mustard on it. Let the toe win the race. I've got no tension in my forearms. I'm aligned to the right. That's where I want the ball to start. So, again, align to the right to hit the draw because we want to make sure that the path matches the release. Nothing worse than closing a face and swinging outside in, right? So if we align to the right, we get swinging to the right, we close the club face a little bit to the left, we've got our draw, okay? Now, for you hookers, do the opposite. Why? Because you'll be swinging out to the right, and that's going to require releasing your speed in rotation. And you do too much of that, guys. If you hook the golf ball, line up the other way, okay? So slices, align right, swing right, release the club, okay? Slow your body rotation down. If you're slicing, slow it down, okay? If you hook the golf ball, we probably want to get you speeding up your body rotation. We get you swing a little bit to the left. But again, what I'm trying to help you understand here, yes, the body needs to move perhaps a little differently. But the artistry, even on this shot here, I'm hitting a cut. I'm going to use my hands to hit the cut, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and line up over here, make a golf swing, release my speed into extension. I'm not dragging the handle. I'm going to actually release the golf club. And the faders, you see it all day long here on tour. The back of the lead hand is going to be pointing at you guys, okay? If I was going to rotate my forearms, you wouldn't see the back of my lead hand. So that's what we're going to see when we hit a cut. Little cutter. No more hooks. Off we go. See the back of the lead hand? I didn't need to see where that ball was going. I knew it was going to go left to right, okay? And there it is, left to right. What do you know? So important to understand, guys, golf's kind of a game of opposites. Never aim straight. Never try and hit a straight golf shot. What type of shot do you want to hit? What is it that you want? Start there, all right? I've talked about both shots today, okay? Again, the artistry's in the hands. If you're a slicer, strengthen the grip. Rotate the club head earlier. Feel the toe of the club rotating counterclockwise, okay? If you're a hooker, we're going to do the opposite. Align left, aim left, where you want the ball to start, and go ahead and release your speed in extension. The crazy part is, whether you're hooking it too much, whether you're slicing it too much, feel the club head, okay? Feel it with your hands. You learn how to use them. They're amazing tools. And that's what I'm trying to help all of you understand, okay? Find what works best for you guys, okay? If you're a young whippersnapper out there, a lot of these coaches trying to get in these positions in your body, you've got permission to do it. Have at it, okay? Get after it. Have fun with your golf. That works better for you. I'm all for it. Most of my students are struggling with speed, okay? They want to use less effort. They want to have less stress on their body. This is going to work really, really well. Hope that all makes sense. Having a lot of fun. We'll talk to you next time. Good luck.